Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you're listening worldwide. You're watching on Facebook and YouTube, both.com/wakeupcalldt, and of course on facebook.com/live-now-dt. This is a very special AD and DT, and we're not doing it in the same room because Bob gets to travel to the warmer weather. So we're going to have some fun with this here today, and obviously AD and DT every first and third Wednesday at 9 a.m. during Dolphin time, exclusively here on Wake Up Call and our multimedia marketing partnership. So, Bob Beretta, AD of Lemoyne, myself, Dan Tortora, DT. Bob, how are we doing today?
I'm excellent, Dan. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and getting back from not feeling that well and then heading off to New York City. I came back and I'm like, all right, Bob, back in action, feeling good and all that. And I get a nice message from Bob like, hey, I'm down in Florida with the softball team, enjoying life down here. So how is Winter Haven, a place like many places in Florida that I know? How's Winter Haven treating you?
Winter Haven's treating us just fine, Dan. I flew in Monday afternoon to watch our men's lacrosse team play against Florida Southern Monday night. Lost a tough game in a great environment down in Lakeland. And since our softball team was playing Winter Haven, as you know, just about 20 minutes away, felt that it was a great opportunity to grab 2 or 3 days and watch two of our teams compete during spring break. So here today to watch softball again today. Watched yesterday, saw them sweep a split doubleheader and defeat the number 4 team in the country, UIndy, yesterday, which was a phenomenal win for that program. And then hopefully the weather cooperates and watch 2 more games today before I head back to Syracuse tomorrow.
Yeah, and before we get into what's going on down in Florida, to be at that women's lacrosse game and to see what the Lemoyne Dolphins have done this season, they obviously fought their way to number 1 in the rankings in just the first couple games, played 2 ranked teams, defeated them, including the number 1 team at the time in the nation, and Lindenwood, a team that is transferring itself to a Division I program. So to do what they've done to start the season and to defeat a team that the NCAA has accepted to move from D2 to D1, what does that mean to you as an athletics director to see what this team has done and to see them defeat a team that is moving into that world of Division I? What does it say about the height of, speaking of on the heights all the time, what does it say about the height of Lemoyne women's lacrosse?
Yeah, I think it really encapsulates our athletic program as a whole, Dan. To be honest with you, I came from a world of Division I for 34 years, and there's not much difference right now between our level of competition in the majority of our sports and where we are at the mid-major level at West Point, to be candid. Basketball, both the men and the women, there's not much difference in competition level. Maybe a few scholarships at that level, a little bit of depth, a little bit of height. Lacrosse is both the men's and women's Lemoyne lacrosse programs would compete favorably in the mid-major conference right now for the AQ in the mid-major conferences, without question. There's no doubt in my mind. And the same could be said for several of our other programs, our soccer programs, our softball program, our baseball program. There's not much difference between Division II. Generally, it's depth, right? It's depth in terms of scholarship. It's maybe some resources. It's staffing. But in terms of competition and athleticism and the type of athletes that we get, student athletes that we get, not much difference. But a great statement for both our lacrosse teams, right? The men opened as defending national champion at number 1 and just went through the gauntlet, beat number 2, beat number 5, beat number 7. And then lost a tough game to Florida Southern on Monday night down here in Lakeland. And you know what? It's okay. That's a good loss. Iron sharpens iron, and that schedule is going to sharpen the men's lacrosse team for come tournament time in May. And the same can be said for the women's lacrosse team with Liz Bevel. She was absolutely on a mission to strengthen her schedule last year. We were left out of the tournament. It was a reduced tournament field. And the big reason was our strength of schedule, which we had no control over. Liz had no control over that schedule. It was set up so that we could only play teams within our conference within our division in the conference during the COVID situation. So we really had no choice, but she was bent on making sure that it was a tough schedule this year. And it has been. We started, I think, number 3, we fell to 4 and then beat number 1 Lindenwood. And that was a great game. And we were up most of the second half by multiple goals, and then won that game I think it was 18-11 or 18-13, something like that, but a great game in Maryland. And then, moving our game to the Dome on Sunday, we vaulted to number 1 in the country. We beat number 13. And we just felt like it was a great opportunity to move a marquee game of Division II women's lacrosse, give it that spotlight in a stage like the Carrier Dome. And I can't thank Pete Salas and his staff over at the Dome and our friends and partners in Syracuse Athletics for making that happen. But what a wonderful student-athlete experience. We had over 1,000 people in attendance. I think the streaming numbers were large, over 1,500, close to 2,000 people watched via stream. The Dome looked great, branded in green and yellow. And fantastic game. Lemoyne fell short by a goal, but it was back and forth. And I think these two teams could square off again come May. They'll both be playing deep into May. And it's what college athletics is all about, and then again, being able to watch our softball team yesterday return to favor to you, Indy, in a sort of way, with a great win, beat a team that had won 14 straight, came in 17-1, ranked 4th in the country, a solid team. And I've been telling everybody that'll listen that I think the team that's going to surprise people at Lemoyne this spring is our softball team. I think they're going to sneak up on people. The job that Coach Tracy Roman has done is phenomenal. And there are some really driven athletes on that squad, and the talent level is increasing daily because they're getting better every day. And Coach Roman and her staff, Brack Matlock, Aaliyah Wade, and Todd Losey, they imported some talented young people into that program, so they're fun to watch. And our baseball team won a game yesterday on the road as well. So yesterday was a good day.
Yeah, looking at how this is all kind of kicked off, we see that in her first season being hired as a head coach anywhere, that we got to see for Lemoyne Dolphins women's basketball. We got to see Mary Grimes do what she had done to win a share of the Southwest region of the NE10 as regular season champions, and then to be able to be that top seed in the Southwest to host the Northeast 10 tournament, and then from there to be selected as an at-large team in NCAA Division II for women's basketball for the national tournament, which is very difficult to get into. That's where things kind of had kicked off within the last few weeks. And then, like you said, softball sneaking up, baseball doing what it does. And then Lemoyne men's and women's lacrosse. Growing up as a kid, Lemoyne was synonymous with lacrosse. And to see what Dan Sheehan has done over the years has been remarkable. And then here's Liz Bevel. She comes in, she gets hired during the pandemic. And right around, she gets hired and then it happens. She goes 4-0 and then she goes 13-1 and then comes out this season. And the non-conference schedule of 4 games are all ranked teams nationally. And you beat the first 2, including the number 1 team in the country. Then the number 2 team in the country, U of Indy, you go into that game and you match up with them and you fight all the way down to the wire. What's happening with Lemoyne Dolphins athletics, which you obviously gave us a giant window into, has been an incredible start to coming out of the winter and into the spring. And as we, get excited about the weather rising and the sun shining, the Dolphins have already risen and they've already given us a spotlight on multiple different areas to look to. There's not one single team that you're like, oh, okay, that's the team to watch. They're all teams to watch, which is, made us schizophrenic in a way, but in a good way, to have to kind of look at every angle and say, oh, okay, I like what Liz is doing. I like what Tracy's doing and Scott's doing. I like what Dan's doing. So it's really been an amazing start to what's going to be hopefully some amazing seasons here with great finishes.
Yeah, and it doesn't end there, to be quite honest with you. Our men's golf team will most likely make the NCAA regionals under the leadership of head coach Joe Tesori. Coach Tesori took over the women's golf team, which finished second in our conference in the fall tournament, in the conference tournament in the fall. They likely will not qualify for an NCAA bid because it's just so difficult now with such a few numbers. But they're going to set the stage for hopefully making a run to the conference championship when that tournament rolls around again in the fall. And then our 2 tennis teams are tremendous under Jeff Lonzak's leadership. Our men's tennis team is undefeated and defeated Colgate handily earlier this year. That kind of flies under the radar, but our Lemoyne men's tennis team is phenomenal. Defeated Colgate 7-0 Okay, to put that into context, Division I program in the Patriot League that generally is in the top echelon of the Patriot League. Lemoyne just handled that team 7-0. Unbelievable performance there. And the women are strong as well, and they'll vie for an NCAA bid. So, right across the board, Lemoyne's spring sports here most recently have been the strongest of the 3 seasons. 6 to 7 teams could qualify for the NCAAs this spring, which is phenomenal, to include softball and baseball under Scott Cassidy. And then you talked about women's basketball, Dan, and we all know the job that Mary Grimes did. And I think that they shared the conference divisional title with Pace, and Pace ended up winning the East region. They're now in the Elite Eight. And, the job that Mary did, it just can't go unnoticed, because she played with 7 players, as you know, all season long. That was it. We had really 9 healthy players on the team and 7 in that rotation. And I think that by the end of the year, fatigue had set in a little bit, but I think Mary got every ounce out of what was possible in that team. So not disappointing at all that we lost in the opening round. I think really it's to be celebrated that we reached an NCAA berth this year, perhaps a year prior to where really we thought we might be in terms of not a rebuild, but we really got hit with injuries and attrition on that team based on some kids just deciding not to come back and play this year. And then injuries hit us hard, and our top recruit, Sydney Lusher, was out for the season, who was a point guard who would have given us some range on the perimeter, which we desperately needed. So I think it's to be celebrated, the job that she did with women's basketball, and great things to come on the men's side with Nate too. I know that he's looking at bringing in some talented young people as well, and we're really excited about the future of both programs. But the spring is going to be fun at the Heights when it comes to athletics, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see so many great teams continue to perform here and here inside of AD and DT, with AD of Lemoyne, Bob Beretta, myself, Dan Tortora. To go back to women's lacrosse for a second here, to see how they started off. Mercy College at the time, 14th in the nation, defeated them 10-9. Lindenwood, like you mentioned, 18-13, number 1 team in the nation. And the Mercy game at home, the Lindenwood game on the road, and then the University of Indianapolis, U of Indy, number 2 team in the nation, that was at the Dome. And they'll have an opportunity coming up here today, as we are doing AD and DT. They're going to be on the road in Rochester at Roberts Wesleyan, who's another ranked team, 17th in the nation. Being in the Dome, like you said, Pete Sala and everything that you appreciated, I want to go back to that for a second, because I got to see the Dome when it reopened. Now, the Dome's only opened twice. It's opened in 1980 in December, and it opened in September of 2020. When it opened in September of 2020, the media was there, the teams were there, the staff of Syracuse was there. That was it. So I got to see the video boards and all the new stuff, before a lot of people. And I mention that because I don't think, and I'm not saying this because of everything that we get to do together, I don't think that giant behemoth of a screen has looked any prettier than when it said Lemoyne Dolphins. That looked a little bit sharper than other things I've seen on that screen. So I don't know if that's like something that needs to be foretelling of the future, but those pictures look really nice, Bob.
Well, I can't thank Pete Sala and the staff enough. They were so accommodating. We started talking about moving that game midweek last week. We knew the weather forecast late in the week was not going to be favorable. Snowstorm coming in. We could have played the game at Ted Grant Field, but it wouldn't have been comfortable. The wind chills would have been significant. There was snow and ice in our stands. We just felt, here's a great opportunity to provide our student athletes with that championship experience, right? And the folks at Syracuse and in the Dome, the staff were phenomenal. We texted Dan Sheehan, reached out to Pete, and Pete got right back to us, and they were so accommodating for us to open the Dome and allow our fans and followers and our student athletes to have that day. And yeah, we would have loved to have won the game, but it was a celebration of Division II women's lacrosse, because it was an outstanding, fiercely contested battle, and probably a little peek into the future of what postseason is going to look like. I have a sneaking suspicion that Lemoyne is going to face UIndy and Lindenwood, either or both, before the season's over again.
Yeah, and would definitely be exciting to continue successes and then to have a little bit of a revenge tour on that side of it. On the men's side of it, we mentioned what they've done up to this point. Number 2 team in the nation. They went up against in Baltimore to start the season, defeated Wingate 15-11. Then went on the road to face Mercyhurst University, defeated them, the number 7 team in the nation, 10-9. And then we're in Dobbs Ferry, New York, to face off against Mercy College, number 5 team in the nation, defeated them 8-7. And then got their first home game against Roberts Wesley and won 20-12. And then Florida Southern College, like you said, being down in Lakeland, lost 12-10, number 16 team in the nation. Really testing themselves this year against 3 teams in the top 7 nationally, and then Florida Southern there in the top 16, and then they'll be jumping into NE10 conference play against St. Anselm, and St. A's is the number 9 team in the nation. So Dan Sheehan, who knows how to be successful, knows how to win, I believe has 6 titles after last season, is now in a place where this team is battle tested. And like you said, not that you ever want to lose a game, but to see what they've gone through, see who they've played, and to start the season off 4-0, spend most of that on the road, and then to give a tough fight to Florida Southern and taking that loss at this point in the season right before conference play, maybe can strike them and let them know, hey, you know what? We can bleed a little bit. We know that we're not perfect, so we need to shore up some of these things as they head into the NE10.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better, Dan. That's exactly. And talking to Coach after the game Monday night, he wasn't distraught at all. He felt like it's a great learning opportunity, and that's a loss that's really just upside. There's no downside. It's not going to affect Lemoyne in the regional rankings when it comes to that point. Barring a collapse, Lemoyne should be into the national tournament regardless of what happens. Unless there was a total collapse, you would expect our team to do really well here in conference. So this is something that only can be looked at as a positive, to go on the road in an environment that is charged electrically. There was just a great atmosphere. When you're number 1, everyone's bringing their best game at you, and the folks down in Florida Southern, give them credit. They played a heck of a game. Lemoyne jumped on top. We scored 2 goals in the first 2.5 minutes, 1 goal, I think, a minute in. And it looked like Lemoyne could be headed to a rout, and it didn't happen. We got up 6-2, and then Florida Southern went on an 8-1 run, and it just was a battle. And then Lemoyne, down 10-7 with 3 minutes to go, ties the game up at 10. So just a great game. It's going to pay dividends down the road. It's like investments into a bank. You might not see a great return today, but you just keep putting in those small investments day after day, and at the end you're going to look, and the compounding interest is going to open your eyes. And I think that's what's happening right now with this lacrosse team. There were some learning opportunities, and I think, again, losing for the first time since I think May of 2019, I think it was probably a good thing, right? You hate to see your teams ever lose, but I think when you have a long winning streak, sometimes that can be a burden, and once that's relieved, you just go back to playing now. And I think they've learned that our young men after the game, they were disheartened, but they've learned that they can lose. It's okay. It's okay if they lose a game. They're not going to be perfect, as you mentioned. So, you lay down, you bleed a while, you get back up and you fight again. And that's where we're at on the men's and women's lacrosse side right now.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, they lost at a time where there's another game to play. It's not like you lost in the postseason when it's win or go home. And so, it's obviously a good time to learn, reflect, and move forward. And as we're down, I got to ask you this, Bob, as we're looking at this here, the softball team has not played at home. They've played down in Anderson, South Carolina, Salisbury, North Carolina, Hickory, North Carolina, and then down in Winter Haven, Florida. And then they'll be in Waltham, Massachusetts, Northeastern Massachusetts before March 30th and coming back. Just, we're going to have a battle-tested, a road-tested softball team with Tracy Roman and the crew. Just your thoughts on, them having to open the season everywhere else but home. And then second to that, I see that they're continuing to rock through the week here in Winter Haven. Going to play Wayne State, Shepherd, Dominican College, and Molly College. So my question to you is, have you made yourself a long Florida vacation?
I wish I had. Looking back at my itinerary, Dan, we were supposed to be off on Thursday. So I found it hard to justify staying down here in the sunshine for an extra day without watching our teams compete when I have lots to do back up in Syracuse. So I decided to make my flight. I was in New Hampshire last week on Thursday and Friday with our women's basketball team, came back, watched our women's lacrosse team on Sunday at the Dome, and then headed out Monday to come down and watch men's lacrosse and softball. I'll be headed back tomorrow on Thursday. Now, because of some rainouts, softball is actually going to play on Thursday. So I thought about trying to change my flight and steal another day or two down here, but I really need to get back, get some things done back north. But, it's not uncommon for your Northeastern teams to open up their seasons on the road. At Army, for instance, where I was for the past 34 years, our baseball and softball teams did the same. They would have 20 games under their belt all on the road, 25 before they opened up at home. And it'll be the same for our baseball and softball teams here at Lemoyne. But being able to come and get the innings in, right? Just getting opportunities to get the reps in and seeing who you can count on in pressure situations positionally. And, the baseball team is going through that right now. They're playing their spring trips in Pennsylvania. So I definitely chose, the right trip, the right teams to accompany during spring break. They had a crazy game yesterday on the road. I think they outlasted Bloomsburg 16-14 and down in Pennsylvania. And again, the win for softball was just fantastic. The way they swept 2 games yesterday in a split doubleheader, one against IUPUI earlier in the day, and then had a break and then came back and took on UIndy and defeated that team, jumped out to a 2-0 lead, and then held off and had the potential tying run on second base in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Laura Bennett was able to strike out, I believe, the number 2 or number 3 hitter from UIndy with on a 3-2 count to end the game. So, that was fun. It was fun to watch those ladies celebrate. And I had a chance to speak to them afterwards. And I told them just what I said here. That team is going to surprise a lot of people. Not surprise me or surprise people that are in that dugout, because I think that they feel like they have a talented team. And they're getting better every day. And hopefully they'll be able to play 2 games down here today against Malloy, which is another really solid team out of the Long Island area. So, it's just an opportunity, right? This early season, it just makes you better, and you get in those conference wars, and it's a good conference, not only in basketball, right? The NE10 is a strong and getting better conference in lacrosse on both sides, and certainly in baseball and softball. So these early season tests are really, really important for both our teams. So if they have to go on the road to get those learning opportunities, then so be it.
Yeah, and seeing, like you said, you mentioned men's and women's tennis. The women's tennis team 12-4, men's team 8-1 this season. Very, very strong records as they move forward here into what's coming up in April. And then, like you said, on the baseball side of things, the team will continue in Pennsylvania against Seton Hill and then be coming back home for St. Michael's College. And so there's so much to be excited about as we look across the board for the Lemoyne Dolphins. Bob, for you as an athletics director, there's somebody told me in my travels, because I've realized, I've always known that the sports world, as I've been in it for, professionally for 18 plus years, that it's a small world, and it gets tinier and tinier. And a lot of people know a lot of people. But what I find really incredible is that I have found so many people that know you in nooks and crannies in different states, in different parts of the country, different regions, and everybody says the same thing. And somebody really hit it on the nail. They said, you will not see anybody work harder as an athletics director. You won't see anyone at more games in more places. And I think that, you've proven that over, this past week and since you've gotten to Lemoyne, that you are willing to go anywhere and everywhere. So, my mother asked me this question, and I guess I should ask it to you. When do you sleep?
Well, thank you, Dan. Thanks for those kind words, and thanks to the folks that you may have talked to. I just love getting out and watching our athletes compete. I was a competitor. I'm still a competitor, but I want to be there in the trenches with our student athletes. And the best part of my job is to be able to get out and spend time with our student athletes, whether that's at practice. I wish I could get out more. I tend to try to get out if I can every day to pop into a practice. And sometimes it gets difficult. You get caught behind your desk. But when I get on the road, it forces me to get away from my desk. And then I'm with our student athletes. Mary allowed me to speak to the women's basketball team after their game their loss, their season-ending loss. And then Tracy, Coach Roman, let me say a few words to the softball team yesterday, and just developing those relationships and having that credibility that you care about them. I look at each one of our student athletes as my own kids. I had a daughter, my daughter Julia. I still have a daughter, but she went through her college athletics experience, just culminated last May at Sacred Heart University, played softball and track and field. And, and I know what it's like to be a coach, because I coached at West Point for a year, and I've been very active on the travel side. I know what it's like to be a parent, and I know what it's like to be a senior administrator. So I'm able to, I think, put those different hats on, and it allows me to maybe just care. I don't want to say care more than others, but I care. I really care about our student athletes. It breaks my heart when I see them, in tears after a loss to end their careers up at New Hampshire on Friday. So I just want to be there with them and let them know that it's okay, and be with our men's lacrosse team Monday night when we fell short. It's okay. We'll be back. This is all about the journey, and it's a great journey, and we're not going to win every game. But we're going to try like heck to win every game. And my job is to try to remove the obstacles for success for our coaches and our student athletes. But more than anything, it's to be there for our student athletes. And to me, the only way you can be there for your student athletes is when you're there watching them compete and pursue their passion. So if it means I'm on the road a lot, then that's part of this job if I walked out tomorrow, there'd be hundreds, if not thousands of people wishing they could jump online to replace me. So I get to do this. I get to be the AD at Lemoyne, and I don't take it lightly. And I'm so thankful to President Lemura and the Board of Trustees for giving this opportunity. And I want to be there with our student athletes in the trenches every day that I can.
Yeah, and I think it's an incredible testament to the family of Lemoyne, that family with a PH, as you call it, and what Dr. Linda Lemura has done and how vibrant and excited she gets. I feel like when you are around her, you're not, there's some, and I told her this, I said, you don't have an ego. I don't see this like I'm the president, everyone's below me. I see someone who is genuinely like a little kid that you're like, if you were walking through a store, I'd be like, oh, she's like, you want to get some ice cream? You want to get some cotton candy? What do you want to do? Like she wants to see people happy. She wants to see people excited about being out there and doing what they love. And then you carry that passion too, which makes a perfect marriage between, the school and the athletic department, which is crucial. And then, the student athletes and the coaches have just been incredible. And, the messages that we got when I did the, New Year celebration from the coaches, and what do you want to say to the community and to the world in 2022? And then for Giving Day, what do you want to say to the community and why you should give back to Lemoyne? The messages have just been so incredible. And all I've said to them is, hey, this is, just kind of say what you want to say your team, your name, and then go with it. I didn't give them like, this is what you need to say, and this is what your message needs to be. And it's so great to go back and watch these and say, wow, these people really care. They talk about the successes. They talk about what they're building on. They talk about what they're doing. And the passion is so amazing. And, I was sitting with Frankie Delia when we did one of our recent Dolphin dives. And I said to him, he was like, Bob picked the right guy. You're perfect for the job. And I looked at him, I go, Frankie, I feel like I went here. I feel like I was a part of this along. Like I said, the more I connect with Lemoyne, the more I feel part of this family. And we just kind of talked about that's how it is. When you're walking through here, you're not just a person, like you are a part of something. You're part of a community, and there's this desire to have each other's back. And I just think that that's incredible and shouldn't be understated. Wins are great. Championships are great. But ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, as you and I know, when you can look at your life and see the people you've surrounded yourself with, and to know that you have a good unit, that's to tackle anything in life. That is the biggest positive. And at Lemoyne, it's just the more I get to know the team and the family, the more I'm like, wow, this family has each other's back. And it's really amazing to see that.
No question, Dan. And it starts at the top. It starts with President Lemura, her passion, as you mentioned, her enthusiasm. She's genuine. She's authentic. And so is everyone else at Lemoyne. It struck me when I interviewed for this job back in March of 2020 that one of the things that attracted me most was the authenticity of the people that I talked to, the passion. I've yet to hear anyone say a negative word about Lemoyne, and it's President Lemire refers to Lemoyne as our Jesuit gem, and it's our best kept secret. And my job, I'm trying to maintain and polish the gem from an athletic standpoint, but I'm also trying to make it not so much the best kept secret anymore, right? We're trying to expand and let people celebrate the wonderful institution, our incredible student athletes, the product that Lemoyne is able to graduate every year. Phenomenal people that go out to be leaders in all sectors of our society. And it's not just athletics, but it's the institution as a whole. So I'm sure trying to utilize athletics as a platform to what this incredible institution really is, what it's stood for since 1946, 75 years now, 76th year of our existence. And it's a phenomenal institution with people that are incredibly passionate, genuine. They genuinely care. And I really would be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to thank you, number one, for allowing us this opportunity every day, really, not just on Wednesdays during Dolphin time. The platform that you gave us for Giving Day was unbelievable, and I can't thank you enough. And I really want to thank our Finn family for responding in a way that they did, not just in athletics, but we reached our goal in donors on the institutional side. Over 2,200 donors, over 2,300. We're still counting the numbers. In athletics, we hit our goal there of nearly 1,000 in 24 hours. So I can't thank our family enough and our Lemoyne community enough. And again, you're part of this community. Dan, you're a big part of this community and a big reason that we've been as successful as we have over the past 12, 14, 16 months that I've been here, but well before that. And, that's Matt Bassett. And we talked about Matt on our last episode here, last edition. Matt set this up for success. Matt put us in a position to be successful, and I can't thank him enough for that. And certainly our thoughts and prayers remain with Matt's family and all those that loved him. But Matt Bassett allowed for the success that we're experiencing now, and we're set up for long-term success, and that's our goal.
Yeah, and thank you for those kind words. I appreciate that very much. I know you're humble, but there is nobody like Bob Beretta. I told you set the bar so high when I look at multimedia marketing partnerships with colleges and universities. Because of what we have done from day zero, you set that bar incredibly high. I have a Bob Beretta meter. And so, you got to bring it now. And so, but I like that. I go around people that challenge me to be my best. I hope I challenge them to be their best. And I love this Finn family. And it's become very easy for me to love. So I want to say thank you to the donors. I want to say thank you to everybody. I'm happy that 2,099 of you showed up and that I waited at night to become 2,100. And I have proof because it says you and 2,099 people gave back. So I'm very happy I got to get my number 21. I'm very happy goals were met. Almost $1 million raised in 24 hours is uncanny. And so, it's been so much fun to have fun with a really cool family. And I just feel like we're at this big, long table, passing the food back and forth, and it just keeps getting bigger. So I look forward to seeing you back after your tan. I guess you wanted to match up with your daughter because she's all tanned up. So I guess she probably said, Dad, go down, get some tan, come back home, be ready. But I look forward to some outside games with you coming up here very soon on the Heights, Bob.
Look forward to it, Dan. Thanks for this opportunity, and thank you for this platform as we dive deep into Lemoyne athletics. It's incredible to be able to talk sports with you like this every couple of weeks. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I hope you're having yourselves a fantastic morning this morning and enjoying your week. Inside these Cafe Kubal studios with you, I want to let you know that Cafe Kubal is here for you every single day, and you can go out to Cafe Kubal to any one of their awesome locations and get any one of their amazing drinks. Of course, all of their coffees. I love the chais. I actually have some here this morning that I'm going to go grab here as we probably on the next fast break, so I can have that for myself. But very happy to have Cafe Kubal with us. Whatever you fill your cup with, make sure you go out to 343 Fayette Street in Manlius at the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse. And, of course, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, 3501 James Street in Syracuse, as well as 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse. With that being said, we thank you for your patience here this morning. We just had AD and DT featuring Bob Beretta, the athletics director at Moyne College, to speak on all the great things going on in Lemoyne as we step into 2022 in a very positive way for so many different things going on the Heights. And now it is time to speak with, speaking of being on the Heights, the height of a fantastic finish, a buzzer beater, less than 2 seconds on the clock. Augusta Jaguars turning on in the right time, perfect time. It is the madness of March. And we are in the Elite Eight of NCAA Division II. On the men's basketball side, Zach Tinkham, a Marywood University player alum as well as a student alum, is here with me today, assistant coach on the team. And to see what this team has done has been absolutely incredible. They have won 3 games en route to the Elite Eight here in the NCAA tournament. And we now welcome Zach back to the show. And I told him off the air, it's a great thing. We said, hey, I said, hey, I'd love to have you on the show. And he said, yeah, if we win in the beginning of the week, we'll be talking. I said Wednesday. He said, sounds good. Great message yesterday. Get a text message that says, we good for tomorrow. which means that they took care of business to get to the Elite Eight. So with that being said, let's bring him back to the show. Zach, how you doing today?
I'm doing great this morning, Dan. Thank you.
And I'm sure you are. So, with this team moving forward, the Augusta Jaguars getting an opportunity to play in the nation's Elite Eight, bring me into this game that you just had to get to where you are today, the moment where this team relied on a last-second shot against Queens of North Carolina to defeat them 77-76.
So we knew it was going to be a battle. We were excited. We worked all year to get home court advantage, so we were excited to be able to host the advantage. We had over 2,000 people in the gym, fantastic crowd, amazing support. It was a battle of two top 5 teams in the country, so we knew it was going to come down to the wire. And credit to Dip's a great coach, great head coach all year at end of practices. And about once a week, we go over our end of play games. So we have a play for every situation. So we ran our play chop. We've run it in practice. We've done it all the time. Our guys knew what to do, came off the handoff, and usually Tyshawn's there to set the screen, but he was open before the screen even occurred. He let it fly, and it went in. And Miguel's a hell of a great shooter. He's a heck of a shooter, just great shooter. 47% on the year. Guys in the gym every day, and going to the gym every day, good things happen.
Yeah, and nothing says March like a buzzer beater. Bring me into standing on the sideline. What's going through your head in that moment as the ball goes up?
I mean, just a shock, but just happy for our guys, happy for Miguel. It shows that he's in here all the time. No one works harder than Miguel. So it just shows that all that work, all that preparation is there to show. But with 1 second, you want guys to play defense too, because you don't want it coming back and the same thing happening to you that you just did to them. So, but once they threw up their heave and it didn't go in, it was just complete excitement. You're in shock. You're thrilled. The place went absolutely crazy. People stormed the court. Just a very exciting moment, very exciting time.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, after you hit the shot, it's like, okay, get back on defense. So bring me into the emotion of that shot going up and then the emotion immediately shifting of, oh my God, what if their shot goes in? Like, how do you feel inside when you go from, okay, we're down, okay, we just hit a huge shot, okay, we got to make sure they don't. It's such a quick move inside of you. What type of phases does your heart go through, I guess, in that moment is what I'm asking.
Just the whole 2 minutes of it, I'll back up. It was about 38 seconds to go in the game, whatever it was. It was a tie game. They had the ball, and they're dribbling out the shot clock to bring in 8 seconds. And then we give up a direct drive to the hoop, no helping up. And it's like, oh, my. And our guys came in the huddle and said, we're gonna win this game. That's all right. That's fine. Our veteran leadership. And then we call the play. We know Miguel's going to shoot it. You have full confidence in Miguel. It goes up. You're going, yes, 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 yes. Oh, my God, yes. And then you're like, get back. And you're like, yes. Like, you don't know what to say. You just enjoy it. Guys are shocked. Your heart's pounding 100 beats per minute. It's just, I've never been a part of a game that exciting of a game, and that exciting of a finish in this big of a, like, moment, like, the tournament, like, going to the Elite Eight. Like, this wasn't like a regular season game. Like, just hit a 3 to win it by 1 to go to the Elite Eight. So that's very cool.
Yeah, and that in and of itself, speaking here with Zach Tinkham, assistant coach for the Augusta Jaguars in Georgia Division 2 men's basketball heading to the Elite Eight. Like you said, what do you say? You're like, yes, okay, yes. You know what I mean? And you saying you've never been a part of any moment like that. For you to be so shortly removed from being a player yourself, it's been a minimal amount of time since you were on the court playing the game yourself. What does that do for you? As a former player, to watch Miguel do that, to watch this team do that, and to be so young, in your career as a coach, bring me into that side of things that, you obviously know what it feels like to have heartache, you know what it feels like to have a big win. So when you experience something like that as a coach and you're not that far removed from being a player, what kind of, do you feel in that sense of the fact that it wasn't too long ago where you were trying to, hit big time shots yourself?
Yeah, when I was a junior, we played Marymount, and I missed shots. Dan. You know, you remember that. Come on now. So we lost that. But, But, no, I think it just makes you so happy for the guys, like, just to see their excitement and understand the heartache and, like, being on the other side of shots not going down, and then just seeing how happy they are. And it's just an amazing feeling to see them celebrate afterwards in the locker room, on the court, cutting down the nets again, and just the initial reaction. And again, like, as an assistant coach, I get the job of doing, like, skill development with them or workouts with them on the court. And just the fact that, like, I don't reach out to them. They reach out to me about when we're working out. So, like, just proud of them, all the work that goes into it, and it pays off. Like, shooter's going to shoot. That's what they always say. And Miguel's in here all the time, and we work on all different types of shots. I'm just so proud of him and so proud of the guys. And they work hard, and as I said in the locker room, we're not done. So,
yeah, you know, and that's the thing. I mean, you and I talked about getting into the tournament, hosting a region, you know, having 8 different regions, each of those regions deciding who goes to the Elite Eight, being able to host that, to be the number 1 seed, just what that did in the couple games before you played Queens, just how important it was to be at home and to start things off in this tournament at home and have the opportunity to be in front of your fans on your familiar court, in your locker room, just what that did on this journey that the team has had so far.
Oh, it was a huge advantage for us. As Div says, like, you get to a point in these great games and the crowd's going to help you, absolutely. When we get to the Final Four, we beat Belmont Abbey pretty good. Belmont Abbey was a great team. They won their Conference Carolinas tournament. They came in hot, and then our athleticism really took off at our opening round game. But the remaining 4 teams are all ranked in the top 12 in the country. I think Tip said it best. We were watching Lincoln Memorial play Queens as we were scouting, and he goes, well, both of these teams are really good. Like, these are tough teams. And we played UNC Pembroke, and that came down to the wire. They were the number 1 offensive rebounding in the country, and we won that game at the very end. It wasn't a buzzer beater, but it came down to the last possessions, the last minute. It was tied during the last minute. And just the crowd just going crazy. It just raises your confidence. It raises your momentum. We finished the year 20-0 at home. We won the Peach Belt tournament at home. We won our NCAA regional at home. We're wearing our white uniforms, or as Dip calls them, the tie-dye uniforms, because we had a great laundry malfunction a couple weeks ago, so that was a fun time. But the crowd was amazing. We had over 2,000 people here last night. Like, people came in this morning. There was parking problems. People didn't know where to park. People were parking on the grass. There was an overflow. It was just an amazing experience to be a part of. Our crowd was really rocking last night.
Yeah, you know, and I'm sitting here in the studio, and I'm watching this shot. I'm watching the last 5 seconds of the game here right now, and seeing that the heave from Queens of North Carolina. That one-handed, it looked like he tried to maybe get a foul called and just threw up that ball one-handed. As much as it looks like a bad shot, it still gets way too close for comfort, I'm sure, for you. And, you know, as that ball's going up, I mean, it still just, like, kind of hits the backboard and dies. But you got to be thinking in that moment, like, there's no way. I mean, this is March. This is madness. Shots go down in a very unique way. I feel like more go down than not in last-second moments during March and April and whatnot. But that shot that looked like a crazy heave got probably too close for comfort.
Yeah, it stayed in the air for a while too. It felt like it wasn't going to land either. I was just like I was talking after the game, like, you stay at home, you see all these other teams hit these other beaters, and you're like, well, I want to be part of one of those teams that do it. I don't I want to make it when we shoot it, and then it goes in, ours go in, and we're like, please don't have the other one go in, and don't foul. And so when that finally landed and it didn't go in, just let everything out and just celebrate. It was just awesome.
You know, and I want to ask you here, I mean, Miguel's the one that took the shot, but was the play drawn up for him? Because as I watch you again, you know, kind of come down here, and if I go back and I watch this tape slower, probably could have, you know, there's a chance that Queens could have been called for a reach on the ball coming down, no fouls called, and then, you know, you just see the play kind of develop where ball's dribbled down, comes to the 3-point line, and then the handoff to Miguel. Was that the setup? Was that the play? Was that the hope to bring the ball down with a different player and have Miguel kind of get set up to take the shot? Because it kind of looks very textbook where it's like, okay, I'm going to get down the floor and then just kind of hand it off and set kind of a move. Like, I'm going to kind of go in front of his defender to give him that split second that he needs. Was that the play that was drawn up?
Absolutely. So it goes back to in practice, we go 5-0, and we have end-of-game situations that we've practiced all year. So we might have used this play 2 or 3 times this year. That's it. And we didn't execute it correctly the other 2 times because game. But if we need a late game 3 or a late game shot, this is our play. And it was tough because 8 seconds, we didn't think we had enough time to go to the rim, get it besides because they weren't going to call a foul in that situation. They don't want to call. They just weren't. And that's nothing against the referees. That's just they didn't want the game decided that way. So the play, that's our chop play. The play is dribble up. They start in a 1-2-2, and they switch the man. Dribble up the right-hand side, full speed dribble. It's a handoff to Miguel, and then Tyshawn, our center's there, so Miguel can actually get the handoff and go off the screen and then shoot it right behind the screen. But he shot it before the screen, and I'm happy he did because it went in. So,
yeah, because you actually see your center come to set the screen and kind of turns and is like, oh, okay, the shot's already up. But, were you surprised? I know you said that the officials didn't want, to end it that way in your opinion, but were you surprised that there was no reach foul called on the way to setting up Miguel's shot?
No, I wasn't surprised. I don't blame that. You want the players to decide the game. You don't want to call it ticky-tack because if we were that defensive before the shot happened, we wouldn't want them to call that foul either. The officials were very consistent both ways the entire game, and that's all you could ask for in any sport. So they did a very good job. Weren't surprised. They didn't call ticky-tack things all night, and that's what you want in a championship game. So it was very well officiated last night.
Well, and I can appreciate that because I have watched games where it's been the opposite, where the official is the third player or the third team on the field. They're trying to get involved in the game too much. And so I think it's great that you guys got to decide the game and decide it you did. What's for you to see this team this year and be a part of this team, for more than this season, what have you seen growth-wise? I mean, did you envision that this team was capable of getting deep into the NCAA tournament? Is it something that happened over time? Did it click at a certain point and hit you? Or, have you known for a while, hey, these guys have what it takes, we just have to tap into it more?
So after last year, with everything we went through last year, with COVID, with our players being held out for the year and only having 8 guys and not being our top 8 guys and having a 9-7 season, we came back and Dip even said it last year in the spring. He said, expectation, let's host a regional and win a regional. Let's host a regional and win a regional. And we knew from the start this year, our guys came in August, we're ready to work. In August this year, and then in September, same thing. We got off to a good start for the season and conference play, and it goes to that Flagler game. And Dick brought us all to that flag game. We called timeout with about 30 seconds left, and he said we didn't have Kirby, one of our starters, and he said, if we play this way, we're not losing. This is our team. If we play this hard this way, we're not going to lose. And haven't lost since. We're 17 in a row now, I believe. It's our seniors or COVID juniors, whatever you want to call them, when they were freshmen or in Troy's year, sophomore year, we lost in the regional championship at Queens. That game was at Queens. I wasn't here for that, but the guys remember that, obviously. So they wanted payback for Queens. They wanted to get to the Elite Eight. That was the goal. Guys have high expectations, and they're never satisfied, and that's what makes them good.
Yeah, and you said that last time that we spoke, that your head coach said, hey, we didn't have one of our best players. Look at how tough we played. Look at what we did. We have him. We're good. And so we look back on this game itself, and Kirby had 20 points in 32 minutes, 8 of 11 from the field, 3 of 4 from three-point, had 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and very importantly here, no turnovers. Just what you could say about Kirby's stat line in this one-point victory that sent you to the Elite Eight.
I mean, Kirby played amazing. Kirby's great. He's our X factor. Dip said it perfectly in his interview the other night. He called Kirby, compared him to the stock market. He goes up, down, up, down, up, down. So he's amazing. He's super athletic. He's just a great person, great guy to be around. His athleticism, his dunk, put back dunk, whatever he had last night, and we always say he's not a shooter, but he's shooting like 50% from three. He makes more in games than in practice. It's something like look at Dip and go, that just went in. And go, yep, okay. He's great. He's been a huge difference for us, and a big difference was yesterday. We had Tyree, our point guard, with 2 fouls. Both our point guards had 2 fouls at halftime yesterday, so we came out in the second half. And Kirby, our 4-man, we put him on the point guard because their point guard is one of the best point guards in the country. And we said, go guard their point guard. He did a good job on his point guard, the few possessions around him. And then at the end, we said, go guard the 5-man. And he went and guarded the 5-man very well. The 5-man killers last night. Their 5-man was making everything. He's making threes, making pull-ups, making floaters. Did it 33 points, went off. But Kirby, it doesn't matter what you ask of him. He's there, and he accepts it. Nothing's too big for him.
And outside of the game winner, what did you like the most about this game against Queens as you move forward that you could build upon? And what are the things about the tape that you don't like when you go back and watch that game?
Well, I'll start with what we don't like. We had 11 turnovers. Yeah. It was terrible. We in the beginning we had like 4 turnovers, and it was just we keep talking about the ball. We always want to give the ball to our 7-footer, but as Dip always emphasized, we need to get the ball side to side. Too many times we get the ball up in the floor and it's one pass try to throw it in the post, but you don't shift the defense when you do that. You got to get the ball from one side to the other side. But that was uncharacteristic of us. Like, if you go back to our conference tournament, like against Columbus State, our semifinal game, we only had 3 turnovers for the whole game. So we pride ourselves at not turning the ball over. So that will get better, but we'll be fine there. We have good players. We'll be fine there. But I would say defensively, just as a team, defensively, like, for example, David Vitti, he only had 1 point yesterday, but he made a huge impact defensively. We lost our backup center in our conference semifinal game, so we're asking our 4s like Vitti to play the 5 for a couple minutes at times, and he went in there and just gave phenomenal minutes defensively. We wouldn't have won the game without what he gave defensively. We pride ourselves on defense. I think we're like number 2 or number 3 in field goal percentage defense in the whole country, so that's what we pride all year and try to run guys off the line. They shot 6 for 20 from 3 yesterday. So we really got to emphasize, we just want to run people off the line, run them off the line, make them shoot pull-ups, because it's kind of a lost art for a lot of people, like in workouts and everything. But we're happy with where we're at. We should find out who we play within the next 2 hours, and once we do that, we'll start preparing for them, and we'll get ready for next Tuesday.
Yeah, and there's 8 teams left in NCAA Division II. That is it. That is all there is in this men's tournament. It is the winner of each of these regions. So, for you, I know there's more work to be done. I know there's more to be had. But to know that the way that this is set up differently from Division I, that there's 8 different regions, each of them decide who's in the Elite 8. For you, Zach, speaking of Zach Tinkham of Augusta with this Jaguars men's basketball team as an assistant coach, when you look at the fact that the nation has come down to 8, I know, again, there's more work to be had, but just what you can say about being a part of this ride, this team, at this time, to be in the final 8 of hundreds of programs.
It's amazing. I think Tip looks it up. I believe, don't quote me on this, he said, I believe there's 312 Division II programs. All right. So we started the tournament. We've down to 64 teams to start the tournament, and we said 80% of teams are counting uniforms today. So then we got down to 32, and we got down to 16, and now we're down to 8. So it's amazing. It is amazing. It's been 11 or 12 years since Augusta's been to Elite 8. Tip went to Elite 8 3 straight years back in 07, 08, 08, 09, 09, 2010. Those 3 seasons. It's amazing. Like, just shows all the work. You put it in, like, I get paid to do this. It's an amazing feeling. You get paid to do this. I know not all the years are like this, so it's great to have, like, my first one like this. But absolutely. So just watching the school celebrate. You see it over social media. You see everyone rush the court. You see the guys so happy, everyone coming up to you saying, great job. You just see just the joy in people's faces. So, no, it's a great feeling. We're obviously very proud of what we've done so far, but like you said, our guys always want more. They're never satisfied. So we're going to go up there and we're going to practice and we're going to play to win.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, with everything that we've seen the last couple of years with COVID and starts and stops and not being able to play and tournaments being minimized or canceled and whatnot, just what it means even more so with all of that in the background, that this team is in the Elite Eight after everything that collegiate athletics has gone through.
Yeah, it's just like last year was just so frustrating. It was extremely frustrating. Like, I know we're lucky because in the South we played compared to schools up north, but like just watching our guys have to sit in the sideline, and like Tyshawn would be triple teamed, quadruple teamed last year because we didn't have any shooters because all our shooters were out. This year it's hard to do that because, like you said, Miguel 47% from three, Troy 43% from three, like Tyree always hits clutch shots in the second half, our closer Beatty hits clutch threes, like Kirby, as he said, clutch shots all the time from Kirby. You never know what Kirby's going to do, but went off yesterday. It's just an amazing feeling for our guys, and like all the COVID testing that went on last year and this year, and it's a heck of a time and a joyful time, and I'm really glad our guys got to celebrate it, and we'll be off today, and I'm sure they'll celebrate it more today. So I'm really happy for all of them. Yeah,
no, it's amazing. So celebrate it, enjoy it with the gentleman, Zach Tinkham, once again, Marywood alum, and I met him when he was in his playing days with the Pacers and now has moved on with the Augusta Jaguars, doing his thing and being very successful as a head coach here and assistant coach, officially an assistant coach here this season. Like you said, first season as an assistant there on the staff, paid payroll, on the payroll, part of the history. Zach, for you, this is an incredible way to start things, to start a very young career. And I know that I tripped and said head, but I don't know if I tripped and said head, because I think at one point in your career, we could see Zach Tinkham as a head coach. And I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. I know you're living in the moment, but I look forward to that moment too, if that's something that you want.
Yeah, I think that's the goal one day. That's a long way away. That's still many years away. I'm lucky to be under such a great boss. It's been very successful. I can learn. They can challenge me and can push me every day, and I can just learn from. And also our volunteer assistant Lenny, he's been through everything, so I get to learn from him as well. So yeah, that's the goal one day. But I couldn't be happier than where I'm at right now, and just enjoying the ride and day by day. And today we'll do more recruiting stuff. That's just how it is. We'll go back and do more recruiting stuff today as we wait to see who we play next Tuesday. But yeah, one thing I've learned from this so far: enjoy every moment of it, especially because it doesn't always happen this way.
No, and you gotta live in the moment. It's hard. It's extremely hard to get there, extremely hard to get back, as you said, over a decade since Augusta's been to the Elite Eight. So enjoy it, have fun with it, drink it all in. Take every piece of this moment, but I know that the Augusta Jaguars are not done. So I look forward to what's to come here as you continue. Zach, as always, I appreciate it. Love what you're doing. Love what the team's doing. Shout out to the entire coaching staff, to all of your student athletes and administration, and to the Augusta Jaguars and Augusta University in general. So to the great people there down in Georgia and all over the country and the world supporting Augusta, thank you. And shout out for you guys bringing us the true madness of March. I love it. I love knowing somebody that's a part of the team that made that madness really take a giant leap. So you got our hearts racing, and I look forward to more great stuff to come. I hope it doesn't come down to a last-second shot, and that you don't have to worry about the emotions of that, but to have it go in your favor is fantastic, and I look forward to everything that is to come with Augusta, and hoping for continued success for you and everybody.
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate all the support.
All right, man. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.
All right, I'll see you.
See you. That coming from Zach Tinkham once again on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. So excited for Augusta, and excited for everything that Zach is doing down the road, maybe someday a head coach. Right now in his first year as an official assistant coach in collegiate athletics. so happy for what he and the staff have done there. They've been amazing. I'm so happy that the staff gave Zach an opportunity and a chance here to be, out there doing what he loves and being a part of this. You gotta have somebody believe in you, and you gotta have somebody give you a chance. So I think it's a beautiful thing that we've been able to see that. So thanks to Coach Dip for giving an opportunity to Zach Tinkham and to somebody that I truly appreciate and hope all the best for. So, you got to have somebody open that door, and I'm happy that Dip did that. So with that being said, God bless to each and every single one of you. We will take a step aside for a fast break. I know you've been patient for our special with Sterling Hofrichter, and that is coming up right after this fast break. From Armwood down in Florida to Syracuse football to the NFL, and finding his way back down to Florida with an opportunity with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And perfect timing as Tom Brady decides to come back for a 23rd season. We will hear from Sterling Hofrichter right after this fast break, where sports meets life, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thank you so much for being here today and every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for.
to be listened to and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market every Tuesday through Sunday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can also hop into their general store during the day and get to see local products from local companies, including local honeys and syrups, soaps, jewelry, and so much more. A lot of great things for your kitchen to grab in there as well. So many wonderful pieces of our community there in the general store at the Millhouse Market on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. They have their indoor dining bistro menu that changes every single week to try something new, and they have their drive-through window to grab your food and go. You can call them at 315-298-4104. That's 315-298-4104. And you can also go to their Millhouse Market app on the Google Play or Apple App Store. Download that and have their entire menu at your fingertips, including the sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, they make it simple and easy for us to get the food that we love and love to come back and have more and more of. The Millhouse Market, the most difficult decision you will ever make there is what to get and what to bring home for tomorrow or for later, because I have so many favorites that it's incredibly hard for me to choose. My stomach is always ready for the Millhouse Market, 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Worth the drive every single time. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Cabal studios. You're here on youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all /Wake Up Call DT. Wherever you're watching and listening from around the world, we appreciate you being here. and of course on wakeupcalldt.com. So Sterling Hofrichter here with me. I got to talk with Sterling as he was getting recruited by Syracuse. So before he even got to Syracuse, then his time at Syracuse, and then on into the NFL. Sterling, it is crazy how quickly time flies. Where I remember driving by your high school when I was in my travels and speaking with you, obviously before then, about your recruitment and whatnot. And then it was almost like a blink of an eye. You were at Syracuse and then it was done. And now you're off to the NFL. Has it felt that quick for you?
Yeah, it feels like, I look back and I'm like, wow, I was at Syracuse, 2 years ago. And it seems like it was one forever ago, or also just feels like it was yesterday. So it's like kind of strange how it goes by so fast. People talk about it all the time. And I'm like, I was there for 5 years and it still does not feel like I had, a full 5 years at Syracuse. And, it's times where it's like, man, I wish I was still at Syracuse, but it's also, nice to kind of move on and continue on with your life.
And you've had the opportunity to have longevity. These couple of seasons in the NFL, you've been able to find a very rare job as a punter in the NFL. But before we go there, I want to go back to your recruitment and go back to your times coming from Armwood High School and down in Florida. And like I said, going by that high school and getting to experience that. And I was just kind of in my travels. I drove and it was on the left side of the highway to me. I think I texted you then, like, I just passed your high school. So, bring me back to the Armwood days and just what you reflect on now and maybe appreciate the most.
Yeah, there's so much to be grateful for back then. You realize a lot of things kind of like when you get past out of the high school phase, there's someone that told me a saying one time that's basically like, to play high school football, you have to like football. To play college football, you have to love it, and play in the NFL, you have to live it. So it's like it gets harder and harder, more demanding as time goes on. But looking back, it was it's a blast to play high school football, kind of just be out there and play with your best friends in school and everything. So like I said, there's times I miss that too, and I miss the high school days. We are always a really good team too, so it was always fun to play because we pretty much always won. And it's great to kind of go back every once in a while and check out the high school, check up on my coaches that are still there, and see some of the new players now.
And going back to that time period, what can you attribute to any coach or mentor there that really helped you become the specialist that you are?
Yeah, I think each and every coach there that's either still there or was there when I was there have a huge impact on me. They kind of like more, there's some, they like knew how to coach. They were strict when it came time to be strict, but they're also kind of laid back and chill when it was time to do that as well. So, they really helped teach me how to basically be a pro through football. So, it's all about learning how to, have fun and enjoy it, but also when to lock in and really focus on your craft.
That coming here from Sterling Hofrichter as he joins us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Kubal studios. You come off to Syracuse and you're on the Ray Guy award list multiple times. You have so many accolades. If anybody goes through and looks at your history, it's incredible. Is there one or two or three that stand out to you of all of the things that you got to achieve at Syracuse?
I don't know if anything really stands out to me. There's a lot of times I kind of forget about, all the things that I accomplished in college just because I'm kind of focused, on where I'm at now. But it's funny, like, bringing that up because I'm actually doing an internship right now with the Boys and Girls Club here in Atlanta. And so I went through like my interview and gave them my resume, and, they're like pointing out like all the accolades I had. And it's just kind of like, to me, it's just like not that big of a deal because I'm just like, I kind of believed in myself that I could do it. But then to other people, it's like, what an accomplishment that is. So it's like kind of cool to see that. And, it's always something I believed that I could do with my ability. I knew it wouldn't come easy, but I've always been the one that I try to work as hard as I can. Don't let anyone outwork me, and, just perform my best.
You came into Syracuse as a kicker and a punter. Looking back on your time at Syracuse, would you have rather done more of place kicking than punting? I mean, how do you see it? Obviously, your punting ability was put in a spotlight, and it's offered the opportunity for you. Obviously, you've taken those moments and turned them into an opportunity, more than one opportunity in the NFL. So how would you view it? I mean, if you could go back, would you have liked to have, been the place kicker and the punter, more so both all the time? Or are you okay with the fact that you were shifted to the punting world?
Really, I mean, I enjoyed everything that I did there. I was, doing whatever I could to help the team win. That's all I really wanted to do. I remember, my junior year when we went 10-3 and went to the Campbell Bowl, like that was, all that I wanted to do was win football games. So I don't really look back and wish I did, anything else, because I think everything kind of played out how it's supposed to. I know when I was getting recruited, it's kind of like we want you to come in because you can do all three and we'll see where you fit best.
Yeah.
So I know it gave me the best opportunity to go in because I knew that I could, perform wherever they needed me. So if they had a punter that, all of a sudden started performing really well, then it's like, okay, maybe we can shift them to field goals or shift them to just kickoffs. So there's never really a time that I was wanting to do necessarily more unless it was asked upon. When I was there, we had great kickers. We had Andre. So like there's no need for me to kick field goals, but I helped as much as I could doing my punts and doing kickoffs. So, I enjoyed everything that I did there, and, just blessed for the opportunities I had.
It's a thankless job, and a lot of times people don't pay attention unless you do it wrong. It's one of those weird jobs that if you do it right, nobody says anything, right? They go get a hot dog, they go get a beer, they're not paying attention. But when things go awry, then it becomes a topic of conversation. What can you say about living in that world of, kickoffs and punts, that when you do your job right, 99.9% of the time, there's not a lot of conversation about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the self-belief that you have in yourself. So for me, I always believed I could do it. I've done it in practice countless times, so I just knew that whatever is asked upon me, I could do. And also the confidence of the coaches helped a ton. So like Coach Lustig would always ask, hey, what do you want to do on this punt? Do you want to go right? Do you want to go left? Do you want to rugby it? What are you thinking? So it wasn't just like, here, I want you to punt the ball right. And I'm sitting there like, I don't want to punt this ball right.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do. So it was really good communication on all aspects. So that's why I was kind of able to perform my best. And then, like you said, it's a tough job where you don't get to basically redo anything. So it's just kind of going out there. And honestly, like a lot of times I kind of like black out to where I just let my body take over. So like my brain, like I just go away pretty much, and I just punt. Like all I remember is catching the ball, punting it, and nothing else comes to my mind.
How do you do that? We hear about sports all the time, mentally tough. And in the world, especially the last 2 years, we've learned you got to be mentally tough in life. It's not just in sports, it's literally in everything. We have to learn how to be mentally tough. In the world we live in today, people not only can tell you their opinions on how you live your life if you're on social media, but they could do it instantaneously. How do you stay strong mentally, and how do you, like you said, you black out? How do you block out everything else and just lock in? Because that's something that a lot of people are trying to tap into today as they listen to this conversation and watch it as well.
Yeah, I think that's something that's just kind of naturally come to me, or maybe I trained it by accident, but it's just something that I get out there and, it's kind of helps me control the nerves, not overthink when I'm out there. Like during practice, I'm there 100% to where like I'm really focusing on everything I do. But when I get to a game, all I want to do is punt the football as best as I can. I'm not trying to really focus on like, oh, make sure I do this and this and this. Like that's what practice is for. So going out there and just knowing that I can do it is number one. And two is visualizations. I did that a lot. My senior year is when I kind of started doing it. And, just visualizing every aspect, trying to remember, like trying to think of everything that come up, what if the wind is going this direction? What if this, and so it's just trying to put yourself in those situations before you get there so that it's kind of just like you already did it.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, something that's natural, but also, training that the current
punters on Syracuse's team this past season for 2021 struggled. There was 3 on the roster. Really nobody had – this wasn't – Syracuse was spoiled, again, with people not talking about it enough, but Syracuse was spoiled that when the baton was passed, you got your Rob Longs, your Riley Dixons, and you in recent history. There's a lot to be said about the incredible talent Syracuse has had in a very short amount of time and how you guys were there to, obviously pass the torch to each other. What would be your advice to the punters on the team currently coming off a season where there was a lot of mishaps, a lot of short punts, a lot of shanks? What would you tell them about moving forward? Because, again, when you do your job right, it's not really talked about. But this year, a lot of people talking about Syracuse special teams because of the mishaps. So what would you say to the current punting crew on Syracuse's team?
Yeah, I mean, I know everyone else I saw it too. Everyone else talking about it. And I mean, what people forget is talk about passing the baton. And I even think about it as the fact that my last 2 years I did really well. And then Nolan did really well his last year. So that's 3 straight years of really good punting. And so now you're expecting a true freshman or a redshirt freshman to take over and do that well. And I can tell you, my redshirt freshman year, I remember, I know looking back, I was like, man, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. It was just a whole new world of punting. Yeah, you've done it for a while, but college football and high school football are totally different. So, I mean, looking back at how much I grew from my redshirt freshman year to my junior year to senior year is crazy. So, I mean, I look at it and, I'm not really, in a sense, worried too much because if you have the right mindset, you can overcome it. I know I've met Ian, I've met pretty much all the punters, so I know they have the ability to do that and kind of just get back in their mental space. Forget about last year. You can't do anything to fix it, and just move on to the next season. Do what you can best to move on and just perform your best.
Rob Long, outside of what he had to go through off the field, he had the road to opportunity in the NFL. Riley Dixon obviously has found life in the NFL. We have seen you have life in the NFL. Nolan Cooney, the Saints immediately had given an opportunity when he was coming out of Syracuse. Just what you could say about that string of punting success and to be a part of that group.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I know also just being I was there my first year, Riley was there. So, I learned a lot from Riley, just being a freshman, him being a senior, getting prepared for the NFL and having, 3 years under his belt. So I learned a lot from him. Rob Long came around a lot. So I always talked to him when he was there. And then Nolan was there my redshirt freshman year through my senior year. So there was always kind of competition there between us. So that kind of always pushed me to be better. So, it's really cool to be a part of that whole group and just kind of perform how I did and versus all the other ones. But, we all had our strengths that we did something really well. So it was a blast to be kind of in that line with everyone else.
Yeah, it was an incredible run for Syracuse, and hopefully that positive will continue here with Sterling Hofrichter. The opportunity for you continuing in the NFL. You started coming out of Syracuse with an opportunity with the Falcons, stayed in the NFC South with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Bring me into, once you finished up at Syracuse, just the whole process of getting an opportunity with Atlanta, because I think it's important for players to hear this, student athletes to hear just what you had to go through just to get that opportunity in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's a long road, and for me it was really interesting too because of COVID. So basically, I got done with the season. Usually, when the season ends, I kind of hang up the cleats for 2 months or so to recover, kind of disconnect from football, and just for school, get focus on school, go on winter vacation, come back, focus on school again, and then it's time to put the cleats back on and start getting back into my punting form. But obviously, that long of a transition time. So I got done, went down to Florida, went down there for a little bit, came back and had my combine invites. So then ended up going, I went out to Arizona for training, trained in Syracuse, and then went to the combine, came back, and then pretty much COVID hit right after that. So I had no pro day, or anything else. So pretty much I picked up most of my stuff, went back down to Florida because there was a lot less lockdown than New York was. Went down there, and I mean, there were portions of time where they locked all the parks, so I couldn't even punt on a field. So I'd have to go to like a retention pond ditch and just punt wherever I could. So it was very interesting, but it was, rewarding at the same time. So I learned a lot. And it's a long road. So then after that, I basically did some videos to try to get, like a virtual pro day out there to the coaches. And then as draft day got closer and closer, I heard a lot from the Falcons, even had a phone call with Dan Quinn, the head coach at the time. And, I had a good feeling that, they might draft me with the 7th round pick, but I knew that if they didn't, I was probably going to go there anyways because they had, the most interest in me leading up to it and really had like the belief in me. So draft day came and, I was very nervous the whole day, just kind of excited but nervous, and then ended up getting drafted, and, the rest from there is history, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and not only did you get drafted in the 7th round there in the 2020 NFL draft by the Falcons, but you spent the entire season as their punter. Just what, that meant to you to have that conversation with Dan Quinn, have that, the connection, the bridge to the Falcons to get drafted, because people don't get it. There's 7 rounds, there's 200 and some odd players drafted. There's thousands of players trying to find jobs here and find an opportunity. There's a very, very tiny percentage that gets it, whether it's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all the way to the 7th round. So for you to get drafted and have that opportunity, number one, what did that mean to you? And then number two, to come onto the team and have them say, okay, well, guess what? We drafted you. We need a punter. And then for you to actually fight for and retain that job. Yeah,
it was like you said, the drafting, it's, blessing. Like not many people, like people sit there and say, oh, 250 people got drafted. But like you said, there's so many people from every team trying to get drafted. And usually in most drafts, it's between 5 to 7 specialists get drafted. So you're talking about 5 to 7 out of 250, which is really just difficult to do. But so it was a lot of fun and cool to get drafted. And then, like you said, going into Atlanta, I guess they liked what they saw the first couple of days I was there, and then ended up cutting the other guy before he really ever reported to camp. And then, went out there and just did my best throughout the whole season. It was kind of difficult because we didn't have any preseason games because of COVID. So my first NFL game was, game 1 of the regular season. So it was kind of like a lot of pressure, but also it was really cool to kind of get a different, get that first game underneath my belt at the high level and just try to go from there.
And we look back at that season, your rookie season, to not only have a season in the NFL, but as a rookie to be drafted and to play all 16 games. Looking back at your stats, you had 22 kickoffs for over 1,300 yards, 72.7% on touchbacks, and then punts. You had 56 punts, over 2,300 yards. Your longest one, 57 yards that season. When you look back on those numbers, how do you feel like you performed? And again, here you are on kickoffs and punts like you were doing at Syracuse.
Yeah, I know I could have done way better, and that's kind of what, drives me to continue to get onto a team and perform is, I know I can do better than what I did that season. So, I mean, to me, I didn't look as a bad start, got the first season underneath my belt, got a feel for, how everything rolls. So, just excited to kind of go off of that and just continue to perform.
How do you gauge as a kickoff specialist and as a punter, how do you yourself gauge success?
Yeah, so everyone's different. Even every coach is different too on what they want. Like some coaches on kickoffs, they just want you to blast the touchback every time. Some coaches want you to hang it high and put it around the 1 yard line, make them return it. Same thing with punts. Some just want you to bomb it as far as you can. And just, if you punt it 60 yards, they return it 15. It's still a 45-yard net, where some want you to just hit a 45-yard punt fair catch every time. So it really depends on, who you're around as coaches. And then also kind of like for me, I'm not really the big ball guy. I'm not going to hit 60-yard punts consistently, but I think I can do really well at, putting the ball by the sideline, putting hang time, and getting just fair catches.
So, for you, like you said, different coaches want different things. How do you assess, having some time in Tampa after in Atlanta? I know you said you want to do better, but what determines better? When you look back on your experience in the NFL, where would you like yourself to be at this point? Are there things that you have kind of circled and said, okay, as I train, as I try out, this is what I want to show a team?
Yeah, when I had my workout with the Bucks and got signed, the biggest thing they wanted was just more hang time. So I was hitting, I want to say around 4.5s. They want more 4.7, 4.8s. So, for me, the biggest thing is work on hang time, work on consistency like always, and just trying to hit, the same ball every time and just show that I can, be counted on to put the ball where it needs to be with the right hang time and everything.
Yeah, and for you to have an opportunity in Tampa, I mean, obviously, for the time that you were there, we know that this roster has included the GOAT, Tom Brady. It's included Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, as well as Ndamukong Suh, Will Golston, Vita Vea, Levante David, Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul, and so on and so forth. What can you say about being a part of this team? Because as I know from this would be my 12th year covering the Jaguars on site, on location in some respect, when you're in a locker room, punters aren't, put in a different room. There's no kicker, punter. Hey, you're like the fifth running back and you're a return specialist. You go somewhere else. I mean, in the Jaguars room, and I don't know how it's been in Atlanta and Tampa, but in the Jaguars locker room, right by the quarterback, your kicker and your punter were right there in our Jaguars room. So what has the experience been like to be in Tampa? And did you have much interaction with some of the names that I just called off that obviously are extremely talented guys at their craft, and some of them arguably the best?
Yeah, I didn't really have too much interaction, mostly because I got there, end of the season. And, I feel like that's when everyone's really trying to lock in even more to focus on playoffs. Because when I was there, it wasn't just like, oh, we're in the playoffs, it's, settle. It's like, if we can go get the second round, the second seed, we can go really far. We can be the home team for at least 2 games. So I didn't really go out of my way too much. I was just kind of there to kind of show support and, wherever I was needed. So I wasn't, interacting with them too much. I wasn't sitting there on the sideline, like far away from everyone, avoiding everyone, but I wasn't trying to make small talk here and there. But it was cool. Like the game against the Panthers I played in, I was like my locker was like right across from Tom Brady's. So I'm sitting there like, and it gets to your head a little bit to where you're like, wow, I'm really like on the same team as Tom Brady. Like, this is insane. But at the same time, you're just trying to lock it out and focus on your job. And, I just kind of look at it as, it's any other person. He's super low key. Everyone's like, that's one thing I noticed when I got to Atlanta. Like, you sit there thinking like, oh, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Matt Ryan, but they're all just kind of down to earth guys. They just want to play football. And it's not like you have to, fangirl over them or anything. They just think that they're regular people as well.
I mean, and that's the thing. You've gotten to be on teams with incredible players. And like you said, they're kind of just themselves and they keep it to themselves. Knowing that if Tom does hang it up for good, which I don't know if I'll ever believe it. As long as I'm alive, I think he'll play football. But in the world that we're in today, if he was to hang it up, be it a couple games for you with Tampa, what does it mean to you that you were part of Tom Brady, arguably to many people the best quarterback that has ever lived, that you were a part of that ride, the last ride?
Yeah, I think it's something that I'll kind of always talk about, probably more in my older days when I'm done playing, to be like I was on the same team as Tom Brady at one point. But like as, the time, I think that would be more when I'm done playing football as well, where, now I'll just be focused, on the next season, the next game, etc.
Bruce Arians as a head coach, how did you take him? What did you think about, who he is, his style, knowing that, now you have another opportunity with the Bucks. So what's it like to work under Bruce?
Yeah, I think he's a great coach. Kind of like the same. He's a real players coach, and he's just kind of like, you guys know what you guys need to do. We might have had some of the shortest post practice breakdowns I've ever heard in my life. It's just like, great practice. Bring it in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. And like, that's it. Like, so he knows like that you guys that we're professional athletes, that we know what we're doing. But when time comes to, he'll also kick into gear and get the players going as well.
And, having this opportunity with the Bucks, describe kind of what it is. You and I were talking about it off the air, but what you have here now and, what this could be for you as you look forward to an upcoming season in the NFL and hopefully at this point with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's just another competition aspect, which I always love having competition. So just going to go in there and, try my best. And, even if I don't end up on the Bucks, but I do really well preseason, maybe another team calls. So, I have a really good feeling about this season of, I'm going to have my opportunities just like I did this past season. So, I'm excited for, what the plan is and what kind of happens.
You're an NFL kicker. You're an NFL specialist. You have lived in this world. No matter what happens from here, you did it. You made it. Like you said, such a small number. Less than 300 players drafted in 7 rounds in the entire world for the NFL. Not just this country, because there's people trying to make it from out of the country as well. Less than 300, like you said, 5 maybe specialists, 7 specialists, a draft. To know that you made it, you attained it, you got here. I know you're still hungry. I know you're young. I know you've only had a couple seasons, so there's plenty more to work toward. But what does that mean when I say to you, no matter what happens from here, you will always be an NFL kickoff specialist. You will always be an NFL punter. You will always be an NFL starter, and you will always be an NFL draftee.
Yeah, it's really cool, and we've talked about that a lot. With the Falcons, with the player development, where they talk about like use the NFL shield, like use that for when you're done playing, whether it's your choice to be done or whether it's things don't work out, but don't be afraid to always use that shield and kind of use that for connections. So it's something that I've kind of done the past over a year. Like even last offseason I did some virtual internships, kind of like workshops is what they called it. And then this year I'm doing a couple as well. So just kind of trying to prepare for, when it doesn't, and also to try to, increase my knowledge for if there's things I want to do during football, investment wise, or, preparing myself for when football ends. But it's always cool to, realize that I made it and I did it for, at least 1 year. So just trying to continue to build on it and see how far I can take it.
There's 32 jobs when it comes to punters in the NFL, and you got to be a starter in that case. What is your advice to specialists that are out there? Because it is so slim, it is so hard. And let's be honest, if you're a good place kicker, if you're a good punter, if you're a good specialist overall, a good long snapper, you might keep your job for 10, 12, 15 years. It's very difficult to get in there. And I've had guys that I know try to find those jobs as kickers and punters. So what are your thoughts on that and your advice on threading the needle, knowing that you've been one of 32?
Yeah, really the biggest thing, number one, is just believing in yourself. I mean, I know when I came out of high school, I had people tell me that I was too short to be a punter in college. And then to punt in the NFL, it's kind of like just proof that if you believe in yourself, that it doesn't matter what other people think. And also there's always going to be certain coaches that believe in you. Like maybe one coach on one team doesn't believe that you can do it, but another coach somewhere else believes that you can. So it's also trying to find out where that is and try to, make your opportunity there. And then always just trying to get your foot into the door and then just continue to kind of, push it open. It's not the easiest thing to do to try to get into the NFL like we've talked about, but if you do the right things and show what you can do, there's a lot of coaches who would want people who are trying to, be coachable, be professional, and et cetera.
What would you say about speaking here with Sterling Hofrichter inside of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in the Cafe Kubal studios before I let you go from Armwood to Syracuse to the NFL? The agent side of things, what advice would you give in that world? Because I know that can pay off dividends, and in other places it can hurt you. And I know guys that have come out of Syracuse where, the things didn't work out agent wise. And then there's other guys that have had good opportunities. So what advice would you give when it comes to finding the right agent?
Yeah, I remember going through the agent process. It was, it's weird because you're used to, people, basically like hiring you. Like, so coaches like, we want you to come to Syracuse. We want to draft you. Where, when you get to this point, you're 20-something-year-old trying to, hire someone else. You're trying to figure out who the best fit is for you. And, for me, first of all, I had people reaching out to me my senior season, like during the middle of it, and I didn't even want to deal with it. So I pushed all that aside, kind of gave them, a generic message to email my sister. She was going to, talk to them until the season's over. And then when the season ended, I, had a list of my top 3 and kind of went through that. And, the agent I picked was probably the agent that offered me the least amount of money, which to me, like I told him straight from the get-go, like, I'm not trying to make money from you. I'm trying to make money from the NFL. Like, the only help I need is, the money I need to get through, paying for a place to live, training, et cetera, versus here's 30 grand, you can go buy a car. Like, I didn't need that. So, but, it's just trying to figure out who's best for you. So, I mean, I feel like it's not a one size fits all. Everyone has different needs or wants from an agent. For me, I didn't want a big time guy. I wanted someone who would be more focused on me. And for me, I knew punting, kicking wise, like camps and trainings that I wanted to do. So I didn't really need someone to tell me, hey, you should go this one, you should go this one. It was kind of like, I know where I want to go. And then I tell him and he'd pay for it and everything be set up.
How strange is it that you were at Armwood, and I know obviously driving down in the Tampa area, like that's where you're putting yourself. And so when I'm driving, and I know Florida very well, it's the second hub of Wake Up Call. And so to know that on the way to Tampa St. Pete, here's Armwood, and then you're on the Tampa Bay Bucks, did it feel like really, really kind of strangely eerie, but also cool to you that it's like, oh, hey, I'm home, but I'm in the NFL this time?
Yeah, absolutely. It was super cool to be back, in my hometown where I grew up my whole life. And actually, since I was practice squad, I didn't know how long I was going to be there. I lived at my parents' house for the 5 or 6 weeks I was there. So I was getting free rent the whole time I was there. So it was really cool to kind of be back and be near, where I grew up. And, I'm hoping that maybe it's a long-term thing, because I'd love to kind of be in that area because I know it so well, and, be near the high school that I went to help them out with anything that they want or need. So, I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
Is there a thought that have you done some training? So even, with your dream of playing in the NFL and continuing to be in the NFL, is there a side kind of training for you that you're also working on that you want to make sure that you're doing? And then what is the long term? Is it coaching? Is it being a special teams coordinator? How do you see the story of Sterling Hofrichter evolving?
Yeah, so training, like I haven't trained other kickers or punters. I just kind of work out on my own. I don't necessarily train them. I've had some high school guys here in Atlanta that I've actually reached out to who are going to college. And I'm like, hey, you want to just come out and punt with me? Like, I'm not charging them anything. If they just want to come out and punt, I'll toss them footballs. They toss me footballs, and, just be cool about it and everything like that. And then when it comes to when I'm done, I haven't really decided what I want to do. I might use my master's degree and try to do medical sales, which is one thing that I want to do. Or maybe coach. I haven't narrowed that down yet. So we'll see when time comes.
Brady Denneberg, a friend of mine, just signed with Syracuse. He is a mentee of Nate Trout, who is one of the best kickers in the history of Syracuse football. Merritt Island to Syracuse. Any words of advice for Brady Denneberg as he gets set to head to Syracuse?
Pack your winter clothes. It's cold, but it's a really cool campus. A lot of good people there. A lot of good opportunities. And one thing, like I remember when I went to Syracuse, when they offered me, I had no idea where Syracuse University even was. Like I had zero clue that I was in the middle of New York. And now that I'm done, if I'm ever playing around at golf and I have a Syracuse hat on, like pretty much 9 times out of 10, people are like, "Oh, Syracuse, I know someone who went there." I'm like, I didn't realize, all the connections that Syracuse has. So, it's a great school. Football program, I think, is going to, be on its way up as well. And I mean, I kind of wish I played in that new dome too. So that's kind of it's one thing I miss about college. But it's a great opportunity.
Playing in the new dome. But last year, I want to get your take on this. Syracuse did not have a special teams coordinator last year. Justin Lustig moved on. Dino did not replace it. And he has since replaced, and there will be a new special teams coordinator for 2022. But how would you have handled being a special teams player without a coordinator? Like, what are your thoughts on the fact that Syracuse went a year without one?
I mean, to me, I don't think it's necessarily too big of a deal. I don't know the insides of how they did it over there. I know if I was back there being the senior, being the older guy, I definitely would have been, trying to help be a leader, help show the way. Because I remember, I can probably still go through most of the drills that we did at Syracuse and help out with whatever. So, the biggest thing is just trying to help out if there isn't a coach there, or, if there's a new coach as well, just trying to help out. He'll help you, you help him, and that's, the best that you can do.
I got to hit you with these quick in conclusion here. Do you have a favorite punt of all time for you?
I think one of my favorite punts might have been, I think it was senior year against Wake Forest. I had a punt downed at the 6-yard line, but we had an illegal formation, so I had to repunt it. And then I downed it at the 4. So that was kind of cool to see, back-to-back punts that I could, perform like that.
How difficult is it? Bring me into what you have to think of. I know that there's natural talent in this, but it's like I liken punting and kicking to trying to make a golf ball go into a hole 400 yards away. How do you gauge? I mean, I know when you're in the dome, there's no wind and whatnot, but how do you gauge the elements? How do you gauge, the air itself, how you have to kick it, where you have to kick it? I mean, there's so many things that go into it, and people think it's so easy. Oh, just kick the ball. No, it's very, very difficult. So can you bring me into the mechanics and teach me about the science of it? And did Tom Brady deflate any of the balls to help you out?
I've always compared kicking and punting to golf as well. There's so many things that go into it, and one little, mess up and it could be a shank, just like in golf. I remember seeing videos of Justin Thomas hitting a complete shank, in the middle of the fairway. And it's like, what just happened? So it's definitely something that you kind of take into consideration is all the wind, where you are. If you're in Denver, the ball's going to go further. If you're, somewhere cold, it's going to go shorter. So there's a lot of things that go into play there. So really it's one, just preparation, just thinking about it leading up to the game. Also getting your warm-up punts in, hey, with this wind, can I still go right, or do I have to go all left going this way? Or, going into the wind, when do I start doing my pooch punts, or do I just hit spirals the whole time? So there's so much that goes into it. And, it's just, there's also games where I feel like you can't really prepare for it. Like the Patriots Bills game this year, where it's 30-mile-per-hour winds. It's just, you just go out there and try to punt the ball and just hope it goes past the line of scrimmage, really. There's no helping that. So there's just a lot that goes into it, and it's just the belief that you can do it.
You played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with the Falcons, where it can be indoor or it can open up. You played inside the dome, and obviously you've played in places like Tampa where it's outside. and you've gone on the road for games as well. How would you gauge the indoor-outdoor world? Do you have a favorite stadium to play in, college pro, and do you have a least favorite place that you would like to not have to kick in again?
Man, that's a hard one. I think one of my favorite places, I don't know if I'm gonna get hate for this or not, would be Clemson. Just the environment that they have there, and also my junior year, like how well I performed there, or maybe my junior year, how well I performed there and stuff. It's a really cool place to play. It's something special. So I feel like that's one of my favorites. And then least favorite, I'm gonna stick with college football again. I'm gonna say Wake Forest, because every time I played there is the worst weather I've ever played in my life. Or Louisville. That was another one that was just always windy and rainy every time we played.
Yeah, Wake always seems to have bad weather. My final point here is Atlanta 4 jersey. I know you're moving forward. I know you have an opportunity with Tampa, but did you save enough Atlanta jerseys that I could put one in my Hall of Fame wing of my office? That's my question.
I'll have to look, because I know I bought every single jersey, but I don't know how many I've given away or how many I'm giving away to people that, have helped me along the way. So I'll have to look into that and see.
Well, you look at and see if you can. The first one that ever went up in my office was from a good friend, John Strajewski, who played with Joe Flacco in Delaware. And he went into the Arena League, played for the Philadelphia Soul. And so the first thing I ever put up was from a specialist. But if there is one, all I know is when I saw you out there and I saw you got the job, and I know that you were locked in at the time, and I'm happy we finally got to talk now, I said to myself, that's one of those jerseys that means a lot to me because of the person that's wearing it. And I hope you felt that, and I hope you've known that over the years, Sterling, that from the day I got to talk to you to now, I'm very proud of you. I'm happy for you. And it's meant the world to me, because I still remember driving by Armwood, like I said, still remember talking to you on the phone and hearing about you. And now to, have you be an NFL specialist is such an incredible feat to accomplish. And I'm super proud of you. So I hope you feel that through the airwaves, and I hope you know that you have had my respect since day zero.
I appreciate that.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life. That's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. I hope you have a fantastic day today, and hopefully everything continues to be well and stay well for you. If it's not, I hope it gets better, and hopefully Wake Up Call got to be a part of making today better for you. Mike Sofka, who's typically with us in the Fantasy Football Power Hour every Wednesday, he'll be back with us again very soon here, and we wish him the best as he has a lot of positive, cool stuff going on in his life right now. So very happy for you, Mike. With that being said, I want to thank the Liverpool Warriors girls and boys bowling teams, as well as their head coach for varsity for both boys and girls bowling with Liverpool, that being Greg Roth, in his first season. A ton of success there. Awesome time with everybody. I got to speak with Kenzie Ormsby, as well as having Kenzie Gill on the show, and Ashley Hardy. Big thanks to Tom Crocus, as well as to Zach Dewing, and of course Greg Roth and the entire community of Liverpool. Thank you for coming out. Amazing show. Very exciting. State champion, sectional champion opportunity. Just a lot of great stuff that happened this year with the team. Ashley's perfect 300 game, and right behind her, Kenzie Gill with 299. So, and what was it? She said 5 games of 299 or something like that. Incredible. So big ups to them. Big thanks to Avicoli's for having us there on site on location. Head out to Avicoli's every Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Of course, drink responsibly. On the pizza side, the fine dining side, and the bar on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. And you'll see us there every single month with the Liverpool Warriors exclusive show with their student athletes, coaches, and administration. So much love to them. Just wanted to shout them out. Their videos are available on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT. They'll be added today, March 16th, to Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT. The Avicoli's page on wakeupcalldt.com, and to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So make sure you go back and watch them. With that being said, tune in live to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all /wakeupcalldt. You can, of course, go to facebook.com/livenowdt as well. And you can go to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage. After the shows go live, you can jump right into our archives and find us on Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, TuneIn, YouTube, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and iHeartRadio. All you have to do on any one of these awesome and amazing platforms that have welcomed us, and I thank them for that, all you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, proud multimedia marketing partners in central and upstate New York of three fantastic institutions: the Moyne Dolphins, the Marywood Pacers, and the Bryant and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse. We'll talk about those in a moment. Also want to give a thanks to Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, Avicoli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Head to maandpa'spopcorn.com today to make sure that you can order from anywhere of the 50 states. Anywhere you are in the country, maandpa'spopcorn.com will ship to your doorstep. And you want to get that popcorn and kettle corn ready for March Madness. Honda City of Liverpool, the Millhouse Market, Pizza Man, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, and Mother's Cupboard. And we are proudly connected with your Moyne College Dolphins. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So grateful to be connected with Moyne. It is fins up all day, every day. And you know that our coverage for Moyne happens all throughout the month, all throughout the year. And of course, you can check out the Moyne Dolphins by hanging out with us on Wednesdays. And that is Wednesday. You'll be able to see them and hear from them Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, like today, and connect with your Dolphins. So make sure you do that. You could get our archive of shows with the Moyne Dolphins by going to wakeupcalldt.com and clicking on the Moyne tab. You can also subscribe to youtube.com, and that is youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, or you can just search our channel, one word, Wake Up Call DT. Click subscribe, and all of our Moyne specials are there. And so you can check those out. And of course, throughout the month, find out on social media and so much more with our Moyne Dolphins at Wake Up Call DT on Facebook, at Call DT on Twitter, and at Wake Up Call_DT on Instagram. Fins up all the time, and get more information at LeMoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood Pacers. It is Pacer Pride all throughout every single month, and I'm a proud alum of Marywood University. You can check out the Pacers every Friday in a new edition of Pacer Pride coming to you exclusively on Wake Up Call inside of the 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. hour, usually around 10:30 a.m. to round out our week of broadcasts on Wake Up Call on Fridays. So make sure you're here with us on TGIF for an all-new Pacer Pride. You can go see all of our Pacer Pride specials by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, clicking subscribe, and of course by going to wakeupcalldt.com and clicking on the Marywood tab on our website. For more information on the Pacers, go to marywoodpacers.com. I just feel the need to let that music play. You know, I have Hispanic blood, and when I hear that music, I'm just in the studio. Like, I'm gonna have to do a studio camera of showing the dance that I do to that, but I gotta let it play it. For those of you that are like, where's Dan's voice? I gotta let it play on. I love it because it's such great music. The Bobcats, Bryant and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse, are here with us every single month in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership called Bobcat Buzz, bringing you the Bobcats all throughout the year and all throughout each month. You can go back and see all of our episodes of the Bobcat Buzz with their coaches and student athletes by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as the BSC SYR tab on wakeupcalldt.com. Click on that and you'll get all our Bryant and Stratton Bobcat Buzz specials and everything that is to come. Make sure you stay close to Wake Up Call. The Bobcats are always here with us every single month. Bryant and Stratton of Syracuse, a big congratulations to their women's and men's basketball teams for making it to the national tournament, and of course to their women's and men's soccer teams for winning national championships together in 2021. Plenty of great stuff coming up, and you can get more information by going to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being said, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. I want to thank you for being a part of the show. I want to thank my incredible trio of guests today. Big shout out inside of the Cafe Kubal studios to Mr. Bob Beretta, AD of Moyne College, to Zach Tinkham, an alum of Marywood University's men's basketball team and the school, and someone who is an assistant coach in the world of NCAA Division II men's basketball. And the team that he is with, the Augusta Jaguars of Georgia, are heading to the Elite Eight, and he is a part of that short staff that helped to put that together. Just a few people on the sideline there making that work with Dip, Zach, and the crew. So big shout out to Zach Tinkham, and congratulations on making it to the Elite Eight. Looking forward to so much more coming from this incredible season that continued on thanks to a shot with 1.7 seconds left that dropped in from Miguel Arnold from three-point range. Awesome March Madness and storming the floor for Augusta. And a big thanks to Sterling Hofrichter, who shows us just how difficult it is to go from being a specialist in high school to college to the NFL. And like he said, when you play football in high school, you got to like it. When you play it in college, you got to love it. And when you play it in the NFL, you got to live it. So thankful to Sterling Hofrichter and all the work that he has done. It is so incredibly difficult to make it as a specialist in the NFL, in any professional league. And I'm so happy that he was drafted. He played his entire rookie season for the Falcons, then went to the Tampa Bay Bucks. He's on the Bucks right now. Tom Brady is back. Could be another incredible season, and I hope it is for Sterling. So God bless and thank you to Sterling Hofrichter, from Armwood to Syracuse to the NFL. And I'm so happy that you let me be a part of all three, Sterling. So big thanks to you for that. With that being said, find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, the Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT.